We're going to sing. I invite you to sing. Those that are here, if you would please keep your masks on. Remember I said last week, as you sing, you're using more energy and your respiratory droplets can actually make you a propellant and just kind of spread that stuff around more vigorously. So I know it's weird to sing with your mask on, but sometimes, I notice when I have my mask on and I'm singing, I can hear myself a lot better. Just have fun with it. I know it's strange. I will definitely feel your energy as you sing along with us. Please do us. Welcome, everybody. Let's sing together. Would you like to?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Salt Lake Centers for Spiritual Living's Love Streaming and In-Person Services. I'm Drew and I'll be your service host today. We are delighted to say we are also having in-person services after so many months, and it is so awesome to have you lovely people here today, either online or in person. Our practitioner holding High Watch today from home is Diane Christensen. Diane will be in prayer, knowing that this service serves the highest and best for us all. Our prayer practitioner here with us this morning is Jim Ferris, the awesome Jim Ferris, who will be sharing a reading and leading us in prayer during our service. Yeah, let's give a big hand for Jim Ferris. Yeah, we love this guy. He's beautiful. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles, not princesses, and practices that are universal among religions. Thank you. We honor all pathways by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness so we can help make the world a better place. With enthusiasm, please join me in claiming our purpose statement. We are an open, welcoming community celebrating our humanity, loving our and nurturing our journey of spiritual discovery. Thank you. I encourage you to sign up for our weekly email newsletter and for all the latest information about what is happening at our center and home office. You can always visit the announcement page on our website,
spirituallyfree.org.
or visit us on Facebook for informative chats. The overall theme for this month of August is inclusion in action. And today we have the most awesome, endearing, and all-around greatest of the great, Reverend Jan Ewing, who will be speaking on the theme colorblind or colorful. And I think we're all quite colorful around here. Every Sunday at 1, Reverend Myrna is hosting community Zoom meeting. You can find a link and all the info needed to drop in on that Zoom meeting on our website. Also, the second Tuesday of every month, Reverend Myrna hosts Wizards and Crones. At this time, this meeting is taking place on Zoom, and you can find further information about this meeting on our website. Both of these Zoom meeting gatherings are most excellent ways to get to know and stay in contact with other community members. Our practitioners are always available to provide prayer support. You can submit an online prayer request through a link on our website, or if you prefer, you can request a call from a practitioner, and one of our practitioners will give you a call post-haste. As we move into our service this morning, take some nice, deep breaths and allow Jim's reading and the centering music to bring you fully present to the source of all life as Jim also leads us into prayer.
Today I'm going to be reading from Ernest Holmes' A Year of Daily Wisdom called 365, Science of Mind. Today's passage is called I Sing Life's Song of Joy. You are part of the universal mind, one with the universal substance. You live, move, and have your being in pure spirit. All the wealth, the power, and the goodness of the Spirit exist at the center of your being. You experience this good in such degree as you accept, believe in, and feel it. As you enter into life, feeling the divine presence in everything, more and more, you will hear the song of joy sing at the center of your being. You have only to be still and listen to this song of life. It is always there. Say to yourself, knowing that the loving presence is closer to me than my breath, I have nothing to fear. I feel this loving protection around me. I know that the song of joy, of love, and peace is forever chanting its hymn of praise and beauty at the center of my being. I turn my thought to the sunshine of life, to brightness and laughter, to the joyous presence of radiant spirit. I lay aside all anxiety, all striving, and let the divine love operate through me into my affairs. Joyfully, I anticipate greater abundance, more success, and a deep peace. Gratitude wells up within my heart for all the blessings I am now receiving.
The God in me beholds the God in you. The God in me beholds the God in you. All is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is well. The God in me beholds the God in you. The God in me beholds the God in you. Spirit within me, Spirit around me, Spirit in all that I do. Wisdom and beauty and love born in all of us. I see the light within you. The God in me beholds the God in you. The God in me beholds the God in you. All is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is well.
Breathing into this sacred moment, I recognize one divine life, one universal intelligence, creator of all that is. I feel its peaceful presence. I accept its abundant good. An inner sense of oneness saturates my being right now. Perfect wholeness connects to everything and everyone in a beautiful cosmic dance of harmony and beauty. And I know each person watching this service is receptive to this truth spoken here today. Practicing this truth encourages the evolution of our thoughts, words, and deeds to be inclusive of every single human being. We do our part to create a truly loving planet where every person is treated with dignity and respect. I am deeply grateful for the life we share in spiritual community. Together, we are truly working to create a world that works for every human being. Today, we offer special thanks to our gifted musicians and technical team who do the work of live streaming this service ever since the pandemic started. We are grateful. As together we say, and so it is.
Inclusion in action. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. I invite you to sing along this wonderful Daniel Namot song.
Well, it's an idea whose time has come. A new generation decides as one of the same small planet we are born. It's never been so obvious before. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. The future of history is crystal clear. The borders between us will disappear. Of the same small planet we are born, and there's no foreign country anymore. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Well, some say I'm out of touch with the times. This world's no place for a vision like mine, but still I can see it, and still I believe there's too many lives on the line. There's so many lives on the line. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. You and I.
Yeah. Thank you. Now it's time for me to introduce our special music for today. I gave you a little tease. We rolled out the piano. Here she comes. This is really an incredible pianist. Somebody I met really by mistake. I went to see a dear old friend, Rory and Faye Northseth. I walked into their house, and he, within minutes, introduced me to this young lady. And you ought to listen to her play on the piano. So she sat down and blew me away. She has some extensive experience professionally and lots of studying and working with amazing musicians, other pianists. And I'm so pleased to have her share her special gifts today. She's going to spend just a half a minute introducing her music that she'll perform. And I want to give a shout out to her partner in crime, somebody helping her turn pages, Christian Northseth, up here too, being his beautiful shadow self. Please give a warm welcome for Allison Barton.
Hello, I'm excited to play for you today. This first piece I will be playing for you is from Debussy. It's called The Sunken Cathedral, so I felt it was appropriate, being an alternative church based around music. This piece has Eastern influences, so as much as it is a cultural shock for you, it was for me. It's very difficult to learn. Debussy became fascinated with the Javanese gamelan, or the thumb piano, and so I hope you hear some of that in this piece. Okay, thank you.
she is endearing. She's been in my life for 25 years or so, I think, maybe longer. She's been a teacher and a friend, and she's been kind of that cool aunt role in our community. She stays connected better than anybody I know of. She knows some people who have moved on, even to other states, that used to be in our community. She finds a way to stay in touch. And I really appreciate that about her. You can go and ask her about an old friend, and chances are she'll have spoke to them on the phone or dropped by for a visit. In her many years in this community, she served as a practitioner and a minister, and then vocationally went on to be a chaplain. Works several years in that role, and does weddings and all kinds of wonderful ministry things. But my favorite thing about Jan Ewing is the teacher that she is, being so sweet and authentic and real. She has this built-in empathy. She can touch you on a spiritual level and still connect with your humanity. And that is a real gift. And I'm always happy to hear her speak. She's just wise woman. So let's give it up for our dear friend, Reverend Jan Ewing.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you for not telling some of the other stories about me. I'm such a good teacher. I taught them years ago. I think we're getting close to 30 years, Rick, that we've known each other. I told them that I very carefully took newspaper bags and didn't just shove them, the little plastic ones we used to get when we had a newspaper come to our house. And I told them that I folded those up, and I showed them how I folded them up so that hundreds of them would fit in a tiny little space. It just happened to be a thing I was doing then. So what do they give me for Christmas but about 3,000 newspaper bags to keep me busy? They wrapped it all up and gave it to me, and that's the sort of person Rick is. So we're talking about inclusion this month, and what a great subject, I thought to myself, because here is a time when we're all separated. We're all separated by this thing that we call, I won't even say it. In fact, I'm going to give you a challenge for this week. I was thinking to come up with an acronym that is 5 letters long and begins with CO and ends with D. That is complimentary, favorable, and really nice. This is a challenge. I mean, God is in everything. And God, that thing that created us, and this is the beauty of all of this, it's so easy if you're watching television or getting on your computer to believe in separation, whether it is the leader of our United States, whether it is a disease, whether it is somebody who dresses differently, and a challenge to bring it all together under one umbrella. There's not heaven and hell, although I must admit, some days I question that. But what a wonderful time to recognize our sameness, our unity, our inclusion when it seems like everything is so different. So that's the challenge for today, inclusion. And the topic particularly is colorful and colorblind. So during this time, I was thinking this morning about the challenge of looking at COVID in a different way. And when I thought of COVID, the first two letters are CO, and every word I can think of had to do with associating with people. Codependent, co-create, co-parenting, cooperative, co-inventing. You can think up all of your CO words that mean together, bringing together. And here we have a disease that has, or a virus, let's call it a virus, that has brought us all together in some way. And, you know, we all get to wear these funny colored masks. There's uniformity in that, and there is also diversity, thank you. So here we are right now at this time. We can't sing together, except here, as long as we stay 6 feet apart. We can't play together. We can't really laugh out loud and tell a joke together without a mask on. And for those of us who maybe don't hear as clearly as we did when we were younger, there also is, can you hear people as well when they have a mask on? It's another issue that goes along with us. And it's so easy to think that this is separating us, but it is the important thing that we do as a community is bring together. We think that way, we believe that way, and it is not about separation. And yet everything we hear is don't fly on an airplane with anybody, don't. I understand we had a choir just beginning when COVID came along. You can't be a choir together. I think of the church that did 65 different choir members together singing, and 45 of them developed the virus. So what do? What have you been doing? We clean house. We get a box ready to go to the DI. We clean house again. And we tinker around in the house and turn on the TV. I don't know what you do. It's so interesting. Do you ever try to throw things away and you can't do it? You bring it and you say, well, this still has some use. It's got a broken leg, but I'm going to put it out in the driveway and maybe somebody will take it. And by golly, it disappears. So there is one mind all the time. Last week, you talked about who are we, getting clear individually who we are, who you are, who I am. We are emanations of the divine, and if I leave no other information with you today, it is to remember that we are created by that essence, that power, that presence. Choose to call it what you will, the one, God. And we're created by that, and that is in and through everything we are, and everything that we do. So knowing that, I would invite you to begin to look into ways in your life that you can remember that oneness. And it's so easy to be drawn away by different political things that are going on, and even the internet seems to encourage separation. It's like, well, you know what he did now, but we love him. It's such an important time for us as a consciousness to recognize and know the oneness of all that's going on. So I'm going to read something that Edward Vion wrote last week about colorblind and colorful. And this is kind of an important thing. Last week you kind of learned about that we're all individuals created by the one, and how beautiful and how lovely and how independent we are. But he wrote, can you imagine looking at a beautiful garden that has flowers? Just imagine to yourself that has flowers of different colors, different textures, different heights, but we're not able to see all the variations in color because we are blind to the variety. You cannot see all the colors. Now imagine, instead of not only seeing all the colors that your eyes are capable of seeing, but then begin to enjoy them. Being interested and curious about them. In other words, it is easy to drive by a garden and say, what a pretty garden. Look at all the vegetables. Look at all the flowers. And then begin to take in closer that each one of those flowers is different. It's a different kind. It's got a different petal, and all the different vegetables in the garden. And that these are all created by the one. But to appreciate the summer squash and the zucchini, of which more than once we have gotten them in our contribution plate because they are so abundant. Zucchinis breed zucchinis, don't they? So this idea, let me continue. Imagine that you're seeing all these colors and enjoying them, being interested and curious about them. They're created by the divine. The other idea of color blindness might be considered as inclusive, that to see and appreciate color is to see and appreciate people for who they are. I think this is the meaning of the statement from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, that unity and uniformity are not the same thing. Our different life experiences make us different from each other, and that is worth celebrating and exploring. We live in a world that is abundantly diverse, with each of us expressing the divine in our own way. And as we return to the beautiful garden, also think of yourself looking at the night sky, and it has so many, it's been so clear if you can get out of Salt Lake and look at it. The colors and the textures and the lights. It's always an eternally changing face. In other words, some flowers require no water, some require very little water, some require a lot of water, and there are different conditions for each flower. And whether it's the stars or the night sky, it changes all the time. There is nothing the same about the night sky. The night sky is the one, but within the one is continual diversity every day, every moment. The same is true with a garden. It's always diverse and changing every day. It's easy to think that we're not connected to that idea. First of all, oneness is not sameness. We know that. All of you sitting here and you at home, we are not the same as our neighbor, are we? There's different ways of looking at things. There's different ways of experiencing things. And yet it's all part of the one. How wonderful that we can bring that together when it is a time that it is so easy to see the differences if we're not careful. It's so easy to notice what the neighbor is doing wrong. It is so easy to not go visit a new neighbor because they're a different color. I will tell you that I just moved from where I had lived for 20 years into another place. And speaking of God putting you in the right place, there are no two people that are the same color. My neighbors are from China, one of them is, another one, two from India, Indonesia, Eastern Africa, Ethiopia. I met two ladies from Ethiopia yesterday, and of course I am the person that goes up and says, hello, how are you? And they have their hijabs on, and yet they try to speak English, and I think how it must be so different for them to come here. And the people that volunteered just came up and helped me unload my car. They were Muslims, and they're from Iraq. And they helped me unload, and the little kids they were born in Iraq, except for the youngest one, whose name is Ryan. He was born here. He's 4 years old. But the father said, well, who lives here with you? And I said, I live alone. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. He said, that is what is, in our country, we all live together. The mothers live with us, the children live with us, the grandmothers live with us. This is so sad, it's so wrong. I said, well, I'm kind of enjoying it, actually. I've always lived with somebody or somebody around, and this is pretty fun. And it was hard for him to understand that or accept it. So I could see in the unity of all people, being of God, that the diversity in my neighborhood is profound. And it is exciting. And I make sure that I meet whoever I can. Even just in my little complex, I don't know, there's probably 10 but they're all from different countries. And they're trying to learn English, and they are so glad to be here. And gee, I feel lucky to, be in that company. And I'm so glad that I made this move to a diverse population. There is a whole garden. There's about 3,000 people down in the, around 30th South and somewhat to the west. They have bought apartment houses, and they're all from another country, or pretty much a couple of countries, but they grow the food of their country, and they take it to the Saturday, Sunday fresh markets and sell their wares. But one of the fellows who's new to the country said to a neighbor, or said at the garden, in fact, a radio announcer told me this, that does the garden stuff. He said, this guy came up and said, "Thank you for having the vegetables and the food from my country. It makes me feel so welcome here." And I thought to myself, isn't that just wonderful that we can do that in this country, that we can create the garden or create the food that makes somebody feel so welcome. We're so incredibly lucky, so fortunate to live in this world. So the three ideas today that I have in mind are oneness is not sameness, and we've pretty much talked about that. Diversity is the natural state of creation. And we've seen the diversity in masks, and we see the diversity in people in this country now. It is almost like when our country was born, people coming from all kinds of countries and coming here and learning how to live, and how difficult it is to even learn the language. I mean, English is not an easy language to learn, but how wonderful. Our life experiences are what make us different from everybody else. Even as psychologists, if you're the first child, you're different than the second child, or the third child in your family. It's one family, diverse children. It's one church, diverse personalities in our church. And how wonderful and nice it can be. It's when one thing decides they're the only one that exists that starts to create, or they're the right one that exists, that sometimes creates conflict, as you know. We might be unified as a family, as a church, or as an American, or even unified as an immigrants. The immigrants tend to stay together because they know their language. This is unity found in all kinds of groups. Uniformity is more like similarity. So our churches, there are churches that are similar to ours, kind of thinking outside the box. And that is uniformity. Uniformity is where you have similar thinking. You might wear the same uniform to work. You might have the same rules to follow within the workplace. That's uniformity. Unity is that you are a group in yourself with all the diversity within it. And I think the reason that this is so important to understand is because we have so many opposing things coming into our consciousness all the time. As you think about that, I mean, we've been a unified group for a long time. Different people we come and we go as far as aging out and being born into, and how wonderful it is to have this consciousness that we enjoy so much together. Diversity is the natural state of creation. And yet, how often do you try to dress like somebody else, or you try to get the perfume that somebody else loves. I won't say you, but some people do. They want to, in a way, they want to be the same, but they also want to be different. And I get that. That's part of the way Spirit works in our lives. And yet when we decide we want to be just like somebody else, then what happens? Do we lose our sense of, I think that what happens is we decide that that's better than what we have here. And we try to be like them or dress like them. And yet, I think the important thing is that we're trying to understand is that we can have that diversity among all of us in how we dress, how we think, and yet still be part of the one. It's a great time to live right now, I think. A lot of people might not agree with that, but how fascinating. Okay, I see lights shining in my eyes. So we're connected to everybody that is different. We all know that. Let's see. Are you interested in people of the same color, the same songs, the same stories, or are you open to something different? I will tell you one last story before I hang up the phone, and that is yesterday. I was in one of those dollar stores, and I was going too fast and trying to find something, and I got to check out. It was only about $4 worth of stuff, and I didn't have my wallet. I said, let me run out to my car, and I came back in, and I said, I've forgotten it. Just set those aside. I'll be back later. And this lady, who was about this tall, a person of color, and pink glasses, and pink and purple clothes, just cute as a button. She said, she already had her credit card out. She said, it's all taken care of. I'm taking care of this. And I said, I'll be back and I'll bring you the money because in my mind, they don't get paid very much at the dollar store, blah, 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 blah. You know how that goes in your head? So she said, no, you won't. She said, I know that God loves me and God is my supply. And she told me the church she belonged to, and she just told me like it was, And I thought, I said, the funny thing is, I got to tell you, I'm a minister, and I'm going to talk tomorrow on color and inclusion. And she said, oh, praise God. And she said, don't you dare bring me back a penny. And she just thought that was the best thing that could have happened to her. So that is my story for today. I invite you to begin to become calm inside and restful as I move into a prayer. And at this time, let us recognize that there is only one. And here we go. And as I rest in the assurance that there is only one, that the God that created me created every other color, every other soul. I simply dwell in the beauty of the garden, knowing that every flower is important to the picture, that every person is important to this world, and then that there is no one excluded to that every country is part of the one, that we're all created in the image of the divine. We come from a source that is so spectacular and so perfect. And as we step into those particular clothes, consciously recognizing that we are a major part of the one, let us open our hearts and our minds continually to all those that seem excluded, to any of those that do not seem part of the one. Let us know that life is good, life is God, and that every piece of us is part of that one. And also at the same time, let us let go of any antagonisms, any feelings of difference, any feelings that God is not present everywhere. Let any feelings or beliefs that are not part of oneness be disappeared into the wind. And in the knowingness that we are all connected in miraculous and beautiful ways, we simply take a deep breath and let go of all things that may appear opposite to that, and dwell in the divine, as beautiful as it is. And so it is. Amen.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Now is our time of conscious giving, which in our center is a spiritual practice, something we do consciously for our spiritual health and well-being. In order to keep everyone safe and well, we are streaming our services online. And since our expenses continue to be the same as when we previously met in the building, we appreciate your continued financial support in these unprecedented times. You may continue to give via automatic withdrawal or text to give, or simply donate through our website. However, some people showed up today, and we also have a box near the exit for you to put your donations in. Now I invite you to bring your gift to your mind and your heart, feeling the truth of your words as we speak together our giving affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that
Yeah, let's hear some more from Allison Barton. Getting some culture today.
This piece is by Rachmaninoff. It's called Melody, and it's very pretty. Yep.
Wonderful. And Reverend Jan, I got to thinking about music. What if there was only one kind of music? It'd be so boring. Yeah, the uniformity in music is basically we use the same rules to put the music together in some way, and of course boundaries are pushed, and that makes it interesting too. They say that music is a universal language, and of course I believe that. I'm a little biased, but I believe that. Everyone can connect with music, and how wonderful that we have such a variety, such a diversity in just that artistic expression. So you can look at anything that way. The same way we look at music, we can look at the diversity in people. Be a little bit more curious. That's another thing I forgot to mention about Reverend Jan. She is just curious, and she will just go for it. She'll ask the questions. She'll prod a little bit. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for joining us today. I sure enjoy those of you who decided to come here, and I know it's a little bit of a risk. I so appreciate all the volunteers keeping us in safe quarters, and I appreciate those who tuned in online too. Thank you for spending some time with us. I hope to see you again, or at least know that you've tuned in again. Next week, we're going to notice the end of summer coming, and it feels just about right to me. Have this heat wave just calm down a little bit. I'm so excited. We have a new piece of music to share with you today. Leslie got in a very creative space again. How lucky we are. Reverend Jan, yes, how lucky we are. Leslie just followed this creative spark and created our closing song. It has the same title as it did last week. It's just obviously a different composer. Together we can change the world. I apologize, I got this too late to get it to Rob. Rob Marker takes care of the PowerPoint, getting the lyrics so you can sing along and follow with the wonderful words that Leslie created. But you'll hear the chorus, and I expect you to sing along. Together we can change the world. Sing along with us.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Humanity is calling to those who hear, whose vision is clear, where the veil of fear is falling, who pick up the pieces that are crashing down. The time is now for everyone to see this. The universe's symphony is about to begin when we're gathered here as one and choosing. Here we go. Together we can change the world. 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 Together. Together.